Welcome back to Cinema Corner. I'm Blake, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Alex and Josh.
And welcome to Cinema Task Volume 3. Now, as a recap, I gave Josh...
Nope.
No, I didn't. I did not give Josh. I gave Blake challengers. He locked me up. No. I gave Blake challengers last time. Blake gave Josh...
Den of Thieves.
Josh gave me the usual suspects. What a lineup.
What a lineup it is.
That's a trio, for being honest. That'd be a fun trio to watch in a row.
It is, yes. Because it's the newest one, I'm curious. Well, actually...
Oh, you could say, talking about trios, Blake, talk about your Eiffel Tower movie.
Yeah, I will. So, I watched American Psycho. This is Alex that gave me first. And I said I watched it making a joke because Alex was lying about seeing a movie that he really hadn't seen. He didn't get the joke. So I watched American Psycho because that was the movie you gave me first that I said I didn't watch. You didn't get the joke. So did not watch Challengers. Watch American Psycho.
You being dead ass right now? Because I literally created a whole thumbnail already. So now I have to scrap that.
Yeah.
You just put a big little X.
Yeah, you just change it out.
But whatever. Go on.
American Psycho. This is Christian Bale. Jared Leto's in it for a little bit, directed by a director. Yeah, this movie came out, early 2000s, maybe in the 90s. I couldn't tell you. It's definitely one of those like cult classics, I feel like. I feel like a lot of people know about this movie and talk about this movie, and I don't know why. This movie was not good at all. I did not enjoy this movie. If you've seen clips of it, you've pretty much seen the movie, I feel like. Because I was very confused on how many scenes it was, like, the entire clip that I've seen before. And it would just end and then, like, go to the next part of a scene or something. I was like, oh, what? That's it? Just a very weird, messed up movie. He plays, Christian Bale, the star, he plays a character who, he's like a Wall Street finance lawyer kind of guy. But he's, like, a sociopath. He doesn't really feel anything. He does a lot of weird things with women. He's a big fan of blood and stuff. I mean, there's really not like a plot to this movie, to be honest with you. Like, he literally just kind of goes around being weird, killing people, doing things to women. And then it kind of like comes to an end, I feel. Like, I genuinely can't tell you what the climax of this movie is supposed to be. There's really no like protagonist, antagonist. You kind of just follow him. Somewhat Willem Dafoe is like a detective trying to like investigate him because he allegedly kills a guy, but you don't even really know for sure if he actually killed him or not. I feel like he definitely did, is kind of what it hinted at the end, like, oh yeah, he did kill him, but his like lawyer is protecting him. But yeah, like Willem Dafoe somewhat is a detective investigating it, but not really. He like interrogates him somewhat. He meets him at his office and like asks him a question about like, do you know where he was? He's like, nah, I wasn't with him that day. And Willem Dafoe's like, that's weird because we have notes that you were with him. And he's like, nah, I have no idea what you're talking about. And he's like, all right. Willem Dafoe's like, all right, we'll meet again in like a week and we'll discuss this more if you can like nail down where you were. And like, that's it. He like leaves. And then like comes back a week later. He's like, did you ever figure out where you were that night that he disappeared? And he was like, no, I was at a different place. It was just like, what? It made no sense. It was very dumb. Like I said, I honestly don't know the beginning, like a plot to this movie. It ends in just the weirdest, randomest, like, a somewhat gunfight, I guess you could say. But I can't tell if it's actually supposed to be a gunfight or if it's all supposed to be, like, a figment of his imagination. Because, like, it's just so bizarre of, like, he randomly pulls a gun out. The entire movie, he's never had anything about a gun. Never has there been any gun stuff. He just, like, randomly pulls it out and shoots somebody. And then, like, the cops are chasing him. There's, like, a big explosion out of, like, nowhere. So it's very much like, is this actually happening? What is going on? And then he just, like, freaks out and, like, calls his lawyer. And is like, I have to tell you something. I killed Paul Allen, which is who Jared Leto is, which is who Willem Dafoe was, like, trying to investigate him about. He's like, I killed him. I chopped him up, like, blah, blah. And then, like, somehow he gets away from the cops at the end of that night. He, like, then goes and, like, talks to his lawyer. He's like, did you get my message? And his lawyer was like laughing. He's like, yeah, I did. And then he's just like, I didn't find it very funny though. And he's like, it wasn't a joke. I killed Paul Allen. And his lawyer's like, that's weird because they saw him in London like a week ago. And then the movie pretty much ends. It really, it's hard to explain this movie because like there wasn't a point to this movie. It was very dumb. It was hard to follow. Not really hard to follow, but it was like, what's the point? What does any of this mean? Yeah, I don't know why this is like a cult classic that people are obsessed with. It's like it sucked. Super dumb.
So what you're saying is that may have had better luck watching Challengers as well.
Yeah, I probably would have. This was like a 3.5 out of 10. I would never sit through this movie again. It was just so stupid.
Yikes.
I don't even think that's a hot take, man. I think that's actually kind of a growing popular one for that movie.
Have you seen it, Josh?
Not good.
I have not, but anytime I like see clips of it and the people are actually talking about the movie, they just say how it actually just sucked and they did not like it. So
I don't get why
you're not
they're
going to do like a remake.
Yeah, I saw that Austin Butler was going to be him or whatever. It's like, okay, whatever. Like, it's just reboots, you know? What else are you going to do in Hollywood besides a reboot or a sequel?
Legit.
True. Well, Josh, do you want to go next?
Sure, talking about sequels, the sequel to my movie comes out soon. The biggest battle for me for this film was knowing whether or not I've actually seen this movie or not before. Some say this movie came out in 2018. I don't believe that. It felt like it came out in maybe 14. I say max 16, but they say 2018. I still do not believe that. And seriously though, as watching it, it starts off with a banging, exciting opening heist, which feels familiar, right? You're seeing it and I'm like, okay, maybe I have seen this. Maybe I accidentally lied. Instead I have. And then you realize the movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes long. That is the biggest downside to this film, is that is way too long for an action film. Okay, with peace and love. This is a bit too long. I would say 20 minutes too long. But the first half, especially because of that opening heist, which is, I think, definitely a downside to movies of when you start off so strong and banging, is that it's really hard to kind of do now the slow downhill and revamp it back up, is the middle section of the film kind of struggled because they're definitely trying to dig more into the lives of these characters to make a bit more than just a generic cops versus robbers movie, especially since the cops are just not no normal cops. The biggest shine, obviously, is Gerard Butler, made for this film. Guy's a beast, Surprised I don't see him in more films. But hey, excited to see him in the sequel. 50 Cent is in this. I think that was another battle of my memory, is the fact that he's in this. I feel like I would remember that because I don't know how many times I've seen 50 Cent in my life show up on the big screen. So the fact that I didn't remember that was a tale that I did not lie. I've not seen this film. Overall, though, I mean, it's solid. I think when it comes to that kind of heist, cops versus robbers type of movies, it's really hard to make it actually solid. Action scenes definitely were killer in this film. I think they tried their best to actually do good with actually the tactical planning of the film. It definitely is to the extreme, though, when there's definitely many moments where nobody gives a fuck about any citizens' lives in some scenes, and that's kind of funny, whether it was meaning to or not. Overall, though, solid film. I'm curious how the sequel is going to be. I'm surprised that there is a sequel, and that somehow, once again, that this film was 2018, and that we're getting a sequel in 2025. Hey, who knows? Either way, I think it's definitely worth watching it, especially if you're going to see the sequel. And I give it a 6.4 out of 10. I think it's pretty solid. overall. I mean, I think it's really hard to make something great in this kind of genre, but I definitely was never bored. It just was just a bit too long. That's about it. It's really the only major bad thing I could say.
Yeah. All right. So, I guess my turn. All right. Usual suspects. Let me just start off by saying this. I was genuinely so intrigued at the beginning because I'm like, okay, I think I recognize this because it's like a pop culture thing, like the beginning where they're getting rounded up and then they have to do like the whole, you know, mugshot and stuff like that. And they have to say exactly what's on the card, and they're like jokingly saying that. I think it was on like Family Guy or whatever. So I definitely know that reference. Never knew it was this movie. I thought I knew who the main bad guy was, and I was wrong. And I should have gone with like the blatant choice because obviously of what we know now. Let me just go through this, right? So there was so many names, by the way. There's so many fucking names that start almost with the same like letter, like K or F. I'm like, bro, I can't keep up with all these last names, and they all go by the last name. So you got the main character Keaton, you got Kint, you got Kobayashi, you got McManus, and you got Hockney. So those are like the main players, right? Kobayashi is like the main guy that they meet after a certain, let's say, job goes wrong, and then he ends up being like the main key piece of this story. So what's happening is that you're seeing something at the beginning, and then it jumps back to like 6 days earlier, and throughout the whole movie you're getting the story from the perspective of Kevin Spacey's character, Verbal Kint. So, and he's portraying this like disabled guy. So he has like something wrong with his hand, and like he has a limp, so he can't walk that well. And at the same time, he's put together in this team of people who are very good at doing bad shit. So basically what they're trying to do is the cops have him in prison. They're holding him, and they're trying to get the real story out of him. Turns out this whole time he's just spitballing. He's just throwing random shit from what he's seeing on the board behind them, because this office that they're in is not like the main interrogation room. This is like an office for, I think it was like the chief or like some other cop that was lending his office for this interrogation. And he was just making up a story as he went. He was just picking and choosing from names and just making up random shit to make it make sense. And at first I thought, because Benicio del Toro is in here, his character dies like almost immediately. I was like, oh, well, okay. Like he was probably like the most unique character with like the way that he was speaking. It was fucking weird. I'm like, all right, just another Benicio del Toro fucking role. That makes sense. And then you had like your straight man, Dean Keaton. He was like the character that was trying to get away from that life. Basically, Kint was trying to frame him to be like the main mastermind behind everything, when in reality it was him. So there was this name, and it was a fucking weird name too. It was what's his name? Kaiser Soze is his real name. I was like, well, that's a fucking weird name. Apparently a Turkish name. And this whole time you don't get a name until like halfway through the movie, and then the minute that name is spoken, he kind of flips a little bit, but then he like starts to like spin it again. And this whole time there's one casualty from the beginning shootout of this movie that you obviously see finally like happen in real time as he's telling the story. You see from his perspective that he was hiding behind like this like barrels and like rope and shit, and he was seeing this happen. And I could have sworn that was Benicio del Toro in there, like being that character for him. I was like, no fucking way did they like pretend to kill him off only to bring him back. But in reality, he was dead. They actually buried him. but it's actually Kevin Spacey, because this whole time there's this one Hungarian who survived that gunfight who was telling them like the description, and they were drawing him, so they faxed that over, and you see that it's him, that it's literally Kevin Spacey. And then as he's leaving, because he finally like the cop that's interrogating him says, fine, you know, whatever, you're like, we can't hold you anymore, so go. So he starts to go, and slowly he starts to like not have a limp. His hand starts to like go to normal, and he meets up with that one guy that he was talking about this whole time, that he knew everything about every other character that was in that group, and he was pretty much using them the entire time. He played them. He was playing himself as like the one guy that was doing like small jobs that wasn't really anywhere near their level, when in reality the stuff that they were doing was affecting him. So he was like, you know what, I'm gonna use these guys, basically put myself out there just to show you that you guys can't touch me anymore. And he was pretty much just spitting all that to the cop's face. And he finally realizes it. When he finally realizes it, he's gone. Movie ends. I was like, okay, I should have known, because obviously it's Kevin Spacey. But you know,
what's that mean?
He lived, man. He stayed in character, man.
He stayed in character. Yeah. All throughout that time, since then, he's been in character. But either way, man, I actually like the movie. Now, like the action scenes weren't like anything great or anything, but I mean they served the story, right? In terms of a score, because I got to give it props. It actually had me fooled for a second there. I'm gonna give it an 8.6.
Damn, okay.
Damn, that's high.
Because I genuinely thought Benicio del Toro came back to life. I was like, oh shit, they just faked his death. Like, nah, double twist. Like, fuck you fuckers. Yeah. But yeah. Good round of movies there.
Yeah,
no, it's actually a fun. That movie, Usual Suspects, is actually one of the few like iconic films that I actually thought was like actually solid. You know, so many of the iconic films typically suck.
Space Odyssey
sucked.
Nah, that's crazy. Guy's a hater.
American Psycho sucks, apparently.
I don't know if we should. Yeah, I guess it's iconic because of the memes, but
it definitely is. It definitely is iconic.
It shouldn't be.
Agreed, but I mean, like we just said, a lot of those iconic movies shouldn't be.
Well, that's why it makes sense that you like said it's like a cult classic. It's not really like mainstream classic. It's like more of a cult classic because it's not. It shouldn't be. If we're being honest. Yeah. But I guess we're set to give each other the new task to watch. Since I went last, I'm gonna give mine to Josh. Josh, I don't think you've seen this, considering it's a fairly new movie. I saw good things about this.
Okay.
It's on Max.
Okay.
It's called Juror Number 2.
Okay.
Nicholas Hoult stars in this movie. I've heard good things about it.
I just watched this like 2 days ago.
Since I'm a betting
You did?
man,
I did.
I was guaranteeing that this movie was going to get mentioned today, because there was a good chance that someone, aka myself, was going to risk trying to assign it to Blake.
I watched it like 2 days ago.
Okay, I'll give mine to Blake. I'm in between three, and I looked solely for streaming services this time around. All right, normally I will just search for the movie I think is best to assign. I went straight for streaming services for Blake. Okay. Now, Blake, man, have you seen The Marriage Story?
No.
That is what I'm going to assign you.
Is that the
And Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver.
It is. It is.
I see. Why do you do that? I mean, did it not win an Oscar or something? Or
yeah, why are you hating?
He's giving you romance.
What do you think? You think I care about that? Called a romance? Think I care to see
I mean,
Adam Driver, Scarlett Johansson yell and get Oscars for it? It's not good acting just because you yell.
You know what? in a month, we'll have a different reaction.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Have you seen this, Josh?
Oh no, not at all.
Oh.
But you know, he hated on the choice of Stars Born, and he really liked it.
When did I hate on it?
Okay, your reaction was quite similar.
It was not. That's crazy.
It was.
That's
Yeah, it kind of was. You were like a Stars Born.
He was like, seriously, Lady Gaga's in it.
Yeah,
That's insane.
yeah.
We're just changing what happened. We
No,
have it
it's
all on
not.
recording. We have it all on footage.
And you don't want to watch the film.
We all have it on footage.
Have you seen A Star Is Born?
I have not.
There's your movie.
All right.
Bradley Cooper.
Sweet.
Your favorite.
Love Lady
Your favorite
Gaga
guy.
movies. Alex, we're coming
Yes, sir.
up on two important things that normally you're not a big fan of, which is MLK Day and February being a big for Black History Month.
Hey, yo, what
and
the
so
fuck?
Controversy sells. So
I'm gonna give you Judas and the Black Messiah.
Okay. That's the Kaluuya one, or is that the?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. As always, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one.